want to start by thanking the Modesto High School Orchestra String Quartet for providing some lovely music as we gather this evening. How about another nice round of applause? The other good news is we have a capacity crowd in the house tonight, and so we're going to ask you to kind of slide towards the middle to free up all the available seats we can on the outside edges. So if you can take just a moment to fill in those empty seats if they're there next to you, so that we have room for folks to easily get in around the outside, as there are still some folks coming in. So give you a moment to do that. Well, now that we've taken care of the housekeeping work that needed to be done, it's indeed my pleasure to welcome you this evening to the annual, and does it say how many years they've been doing this on here? The annual Peace Essay Contest Awards reception. I know it's better than 20 years, correct, Indira? 24 years that this contest has been going on here in Stanislaus County, and it's a great thing. I'm Russ Madison. I'm one of the pastors at the Modesto Church of the Brethren, and it's my privilege to be your Master of Ceremonies for this evening's award ceremony. There are loads of people that we want to thank as we get started this evening. First off, we want to extend a thanks to Modesto Junior College for co-sponsoring with the Peace Life Center this year's essay contest. And how about a nice round of thanks to the Junior College. On the back of your bulletin, you'll take note of some folks who are what we consider donors, who make this happen, who make the prize money happen on the back side of things. And those folks who are donors this year include John Burdick, the Central Valley Democratic Club, the Delta Friends Meeting, the Modesto Teachers Association, and David Tucker. How about a nice round of thanks for those folks? This year there were more than 1,000 essays that were submitted for the Peace Essay Contest. I believe the highest total they've had. And to get to the point from when all of those essays arrive at the end of November to tonight, it takes a whole group of people who spend loads of time reading every essay, reading the essays out of the first read that are selected for a second reading. Those then get selected to be finalists, and then a group of judges reads the 20 finalist essays to make the final determinations and selections of winners. And those folks are listed on the back of the program as well this evening. But if there are any of the judges or screeners that are here tonight, I'd invite you to stand at this time so we can express our thanks to you. And this event doesn't happen without a year's worth of work. And the folks who make that happen, and I know they work hard because I couldn't keep up with them. I used to be on the committee, and I said, I can't do that anymore. They work so hard, beginning already now to work on the prompt for next year's essay. But I'd like you to express your thanks to these folks, and now let me read their names. They're listed on the back, and most of them are working along the back of the room tonight. Margaret Barker, Indira Clark, Pam Franklin, Elaine Gorman, Suzanne Meyer, Deborah Roberts, Sandy Sample, and Shelley Scribner. How about a nice round of thanks for them? Of course, every year when they put the topic together and put it out, the Peace Essay Contest doesn't happen without the support of two different groups of folks. First are classroom teachers who make, and school principals who make this a priority in their schools and encourage students to write for this. So any teachers who have students who've written and any principals from those schools that submitted essays, if you're here, I'd invite you to stand so we can share our thanks with you. And we'll have a chance to acknowledge the finalists, but Like I said, more than 1,000 essays were submitted this year by students across the county. And so all students who are here tonight who wrote essays this year, I'd invite you to stand so we can share our appreciation for your work as well. All students. At this time, I want to invite the finalists for Division I, that would be the 11th and 12th grade finalists, to make their way to the back of the room so that we can get you ready to receive your award. So you can move that way at this time. I want to introduce our presenter for this evening. Please say he's a good friend of mine, Ruben Villalobos, who is an attorney here in Modesto and is one of the most recently elected members to our city school board. Nice to have you with us, Ruben. I want to start then, as we get ready to present Division I, by reading for you all the prompt that the students were asked to respond to in Division I and Division II, our high school divisions. The word peace has many meanings, from the absence of war and armed conflict to personal inner serenity. All around the world, people yearn for the opportunity for their families to live, work, and thrive in peace. They dream of a future where forces like injustice, poverty, and racism no longer exist. The 2010 Peace Essay Contest invites students to envision a more peaceful future that includes respect and equality for all. And for Division I and II, they were to consider the problems in our world that prevent people from experiencing peace, and then narrow their focus to one area. And then imagine that they suddenly have the power to put into action a non-violent plan to bring about a more peaceful future that includes respect and fairness for all. In an essay of 500 to 1,000 words, they are to describe the problem area they have chosen to address, tell what led them to focus on this area, explain your plan for bringing about change, including how your solution would contribute to a more peaceful future, and consider and explain how your strategy would impact your family, your community, or the whole world, and thus lead to a more peaceful future. Quite the assignment for our young authors this past year. With that, Ruben?
Thank you. Our first finalist is Millie Stum, finalist and school winner, Enox High School, in Miss Edwards' class. Next we have Lindsay Inoki, honorable mention, Whitmore Charter, in Miss Robbins' class. And we have Kyle Reidenauer, second place, Oakdale High School, Miss Olson. And the first place in school winner from Johansson High School in Miss Souza's class, Brian Lewis.
Now would be the moment if your parent or someone wants to come up and snap a picture of all of the finalists and winners. Now would be the time to get close and do that if you'd like. They told their parents not to come forward. All right, another round of applause, and we'll invite Brian to come.
This summer, I had the opportunity to work with the Stanislaus County Literacy Center by helping Stanislaus County residents prepare to pass the GED test, giving them certification equal to a high school diploma. As I spent over 6 weeks tutoring adults from a myriad of backgrounds in basic reading, writing, and math, I became acquainted with certain individuals and their life stories. One man in his 40s had been making 6 figures for over a decade when the recession hit. He lost his position and couldn't be rehired until he had a high school diploma. Another man who was on welfare for multiple years due to his illiteracy told me about the disintegration of his family as a consequence of being illiterate. An older woman was there to earn her GED after seeing one of her sons-in-law shot in a drive-by shooting and the devastating effect illiteracy had on family life. She wanted to set a different example and prevent the cycle from continuing. One day, a man came to the tutoring center who had already passed his GED. He had been homeless, been in and out of prison for much of his adult life, had previously struggled with alcoholism and drugs, and had become estranged from his family. His life had been full of chaos and misery. At one point, he was living under a Modesto bridge and had reached the absolute lowest point of his life. A police officer found him and connected him with a community resource that included a literacy program. After spending a couple years learning to read and write, perform basic math, he received his GED. He now owns a business and is happily married. Because of the peace he found through literacy, he now looks for opportunities to explain the importance of literacy and the peace that it can bring into the lives of those who are functionally illiterate. But too many people don't enjoy the peace of literacy. Nearly 75% of welfare recipients are functionally illiterate. The healthcare industry estimates that $73 billion of unnecessary healthcare expenses are attributable to poor literacy. American businesses are estimated to lose over $60 billion in productivity each year due to employees' lack of basic literacy skills. In Stanislaus County alone, it is estimated that 26% of residents read at or below a 4th grade reading level. I would like to make every adult in Stanislaus County functionally literate, opening the door to a lifelong opportunity of reading, learning, and peace. Many adults are not literate because of inconvenience, time, and the lack of resources available. I would like to change that. I propose that first a county-wide literacy improvement program, LIP, be instituted. The LIP would operate similarly to the current programs and resources found in the already existing Stanislaus County Literacy Center, but be extended to function at every elementary school in the county. The LIP would hold adult literacy and GED classes for any illiterate or dropout adults during the day and evenings 6 days a week. It would provide childcare and one-on-one tutoring done by volunteers to give every adult the ability to become functionally literate and gain a love of learning. In addition, every adult who is registered with the LIP would receive a bus pass permitting him or her to passage to the library and home at least twice a week and a library card at the time of registration. This would effectively target the illiterate populations in every single neighborhood and provide This would effectively target the illiterate populations in every single neighborhood and provide the means necessary for each nook and cranny in our county to receive resources to tutor and educate our adult population. This in turn would promote reading and respect for learning and education. If every adult in our county could learn to read and write from a neighborhood-based resource program, communities would be strengthened and family life would be dramatically improved. Learning starts at home. And when the parents value learning, then the children value learning by example, instruction, and encouragement. After instituting this program throughout our county, I believe we should adopt a national LIP following the same principles to establish a fully literate United States population and eventually establish respective LIP programs in every nation worldwide. If this program were instituted, it would, over time, reduce crime in our communities, reduce the number of welfare recipients in our county, raise the level of high school graduates, further employment opportunities in our county, and foster a new enthusiasm for learning, enlightenment, and ambition. These are the keys to empowering people and preventing crime, poverty, and the apathy that is the cause of such strife in our community and world, thus facilitating peace through the means of literacy. Lyndon Johnson once said, "A book is the most effective weapon against intolerance and ignorance." The impact of literacy starts at the individual level. Teaching someone basic functional literacy skills is like walking into a prison cell, finding an innocent human being chained with thousands of steel links of ignorance. As they grasp each concept, another link is taken off and another burden lifted. Line by line and precept upon precept, they liberate themselves from ignorance and intolerance, the driving factors in disharmony and conflict in individuals, families, communities, and ultimately our world. I believe that the single most effective way of promoting peace throughout our community in one plan would be to produce a fully literate adult population. If the LAP were introduced, we could achieve this goal. The importance and necessity of such a pursuit was said well by the Los Angeles Times. No skill is more crucial to the future of a child or a democratic and prosperous society than literacy. Thank you.
At this time, I'd invite the Division 2 winners and finalists to please make their way to the back. Division 2, grades 9 and 10. While they're assembling back there, let me also introduce our other person who's up here on stage with us. Pleased to have Jana Chavetta here, and she's passing out the certificates and making sure that Ruben and I stay on the right page and what we're supposed to be doing. Jana's an active part of the Peace Life Center, is a second grade teacher in Modesto City Schools, and helped to develop the Resolving Conflict Creatively project that's being used in Modesto City Schools. So glad to have you up here, Jana. Each of the finalists and award winners that comes up tonight is receiving a packet like this, and we thought you might like to know what is in that packet. There are several different things. First, there are several certificates of recognition for their role and participation in the Peace Essay Contest from Senator Dave Coghill's office here in the state of California, from Congressman Dennis Cardozo's office in the U.S. House of Representatives, and also from State Senator Jeff Denham and Assemblymember Tom Berryhill from here in California. So those from our elected representatives, and then also a certificate of participation and award from the Modesto Peace Life Center as well. So those are what folks will find in their packets. For those who are finalists, and those who are winners, they should also find a check in there. So make sure you go through if you're a winner and take a look at that. The other piece that's in all of those packets that's very important is a small green ticket. And on it, it has a lovely dove, and it says, "Exchange for a 2010 Peace Essay Contest t-shirt." And all of the finalists and age-level winners at the back corner after we're done tonight, you take your ticket out, and you can go back there and exchange it for one of the 2010 Peace Essay t-shirts. So make sure you stop and get that. And nice round of applause for the article.
And we actually have one more Division 1 finalist, and this is Andrea Nunez, honorable mention from Johansson High School in Mrs. Souza's class. And on to Division 2, we have Elena Sahagun, finalist, Pittman High School, Mr. Hatchell. And we have Sunshine Anderson, a finalist from Oakdale High School, Miss Springer's class. And Sarah Lewis, honorable mention, Johansson High School, Mr. Knight. Brad Tobin, honorable mention and school winner, Denair High School, Miss Dolan's class. And Marissa Johnson, honorable mention and school winner, Oakdale High School, Ms. Springer's class. We have Morgan Kruger, our second place and school winner from Modesto High School, my alma mater, Mrs. West. And Julia Hackett, first place and school winner, Johansen High School, Mr. Knight.
Why don't all of you come in a little closer this way, and now's the chance to get some pictures. Another round of applause.
As I look at the world's most volatile and violent regions, such as Africa, parts of South America, and the Middle East, there is a common thread that connects each region to each other. They are developing countries that have weak economies and most citizens are unemployed, and the government lacks the resources or willpower to reverse these situations. People gravitate towards a stable form of a monthly paycheck. Oftentimes, this is a guerrilla organization that derails government stability and creates chaos. This leads me to conclude that if I had all the resources possible to make a more peaceful world, I'd focus on raising economic standards in violent regions that have weak economies. The first priority is to create public works projects that pay citizens who are unemployed to fix or create infrastructure in their country. This helps countries with their unemployment rates while helping to fix basic problems in their country, like irrigation, sanitation, energy, etc. For instance, projects should be enacted that create irrigation systems to remote villages that can start producing more food, thus leading to a society that can sustain itself without foreign aid. Also, improving roadways would not only give employment to many, but it would create a more diverse economy since people could more easily travel to different areas, so trade would increase. Next, I would create companies and corporations based on improved infrastructure. I would start by emphasizing the agricultural possibilities in places like Africa and Brazil. This creates a domino effect on another problem our world is facing, world hunger. More people would produce even more food for our world population, thus creating more jobs, more money, and more food. In Brazil and other South American countries, the possibility for renewable resources is endless. So growing more corn or sugar, for instance, creates more agricultural industry while expanding the green industry for biofuels and helping to solve global warming. Creating corporations leads to massive employment opportunities, and people are not so reliant on guerrilla organizations. For example, the Taliban in Afghanistan is also an economic support system for many Afghans, not so much an ideologue. Also, developed countries will begin to trade with undeveloped countries with their resources or manufactured products. If countries trade more with each other, it would increase the ties economically and diplomatically between countries. When economies are interconnected, the chances that countries would go to war with each other is slim because of their dependence on each other. For example, the European economy is threaded together by the European Union. This benefits the people of Europe, creating economic prosperity and stability, while strengthening diplomatic ties. If Germany went to war with France, it would be economic and political suicide. This concept could also prove successful in Africa, parts of South America, and the Middle East. Primitive tribal disputes results in constant conflicts and wars within a country such as Pakistan, India, or Afghanistan. To solve this problem, I would propose, as I mentioned earlier, intertwined economies. If tribes traded more with each other, their dependence on one another would increase, therefore lessening potential violence. If this plan succeeded, the results would be astonishing. The next generation would experience economic prosperity in an ideal world that is peaceful. Countries would have more money to spend on education. I believe that education is a key ingredient in unlocking the wonders of our minds and expanding our belief system so we can accurately assess problems and their potential solutions. But this world will not exist if we do not focus on economic standards that increase each country's strength. Economic viability in poor countries is the starting point for everything else within the country to develop. It is only a small piece that connects the large jigsaw puzzle, but I firmly believe that every country should enjoy the prosperity that we Americans do. Just imagine what we could accomplish if the rest of the world did not have to constantly worry about the money going into developing countries. The answer: infinite possibilities.
At this time, I would ask the Division 3, that would be grades 7 and 8, finalists and winners to make their way to the back of the room. Division 3, grades 7 and 8. The prompt changes a little bit as we move to Divisions 3 and 4, and the length of the essay gets to be just a little bit shorter. Let me share with you what that prompt was and the assignment that was before our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade essayists. Consider the problems in our world that prevent people from experiencing peace. Then narrow your focus to one area and imagine that you suddenly have the power to put into action a nonviolent plan to bring about a more peaceful future that includes respect and fairness for all. In your essay of 250 to 500 words, describe the problem area you have chosen to address, tell what led you to focus on this area, and explain your plan for bringing about change, including how your solution would contribute to a more peaceful future. So that's the assignment that they had before them. I assume many of you, in addition to getting the program for this evening, did get a chance to pick up the Winning Essays booklet. But if you haven't gotten a copy of that for your household yet, there are copies available at the back of the room. And I would encourage you to make sure that you pick a copy up before you leave here this evening. Printed in here are the first, second, and third place essays in each of the divisions. And it will give you an opportunity to see the strength of writing of all of the students and see how hard the work that the screeners and the judges have before them is. And just to explain a little bit about, well, you've heard several folks cited as a finalist and a school winner. Each school that submits 10 or more essays in a given age category or division, a school winner is selected from that school as well, from the set of essays that were submitted. So that's what we're looking for there, is those schools that have 10 or more essays submitted. We select someone out from there. While they're still getting those folks lined up, I'll let you know we are recording tonight's Peace Essay Awards ceremonies. And they will be broadcast sometime in the month of April on Comcast Channel 26. The Peace Life Center has a show they broadcast on Wednesday and Friday nights at 9 o'clock p.m.
Saturday.
Wednesday and Saturday night.
At 9 o'clock on the channel.
9 o'clock Wednesday and Saturday. My apologies. Sometime in April, this will be broadcast, and so you'll have a chance to catch that on Channel 26 as well. Our award winners are making their way over, and
I think it probably would be appropriate to give an extra round of applause to everybody from Oakdale Junior High School. Very well represented in this category. And first we have Carlos Martinez, the school winner from the Riverbank Language Academy. Mrs. Jimenez is fine. Now we have Lauren Ing, school winner, Prescott Junior High, Mrs. Tobin. And Amelia John, school winner, Grattan Elementary School, Miss Jensen. And Marisela Yepes, a finalist from Blaker Kinzer Junior High, Mrs. Corbin. And we have Miguel Rodriguez Arias, finalist and school winner, Blaker Kinzer Junior High, Mrs. Corbin. And we have Michi Kirihara, finalist, Dutcher Middle School, Miss Cordell. And I like that hat there, first of all. We have Nick Damon, finalist, Hart Ransom Charter School, Mrs. Strange. Now we have Brianna Alcock, finalist, Oakdale Junior High, Ms. Wagoner. Katie Homer, honorable mention, Oakdale Junior High, Ms. Wagoner. Oakdale Junior High again, honorable mention, Austin Clayton, Ms. Wagoner. Oakdale Junior High, Valerie Zemlyanskaya, third place, Ms. Wagoner. Oakdale Junior High, second place, Davis Harper, Ms. Wagoner. And the first place and school winner from Oakdale Junior High, Ms. Wagoner Kalkidan Curtis. Now would be a chance for some pictures. And back row, slide up so you can kind of see in between the people who are in front of you.
Another nice round of applause.
Good job.
The shoes of another. A boy my age once looked at my shirt that symbolized peace and said, "That's a nice message, but we'll never get there." I smiled and walked away. Sometimes discussing issues with people gets quite depressing and frustrating. No one is stopping us from achieving peace but ourselves. We have the power to make this world more peaceful just by trying to better comprehend the losses and gains of one another. What do we live for if not to make life less difficult for each other? A writer with the name George Eliot once questioned. Is it right for us to ignore the hardship of others just because our lives are a bit more luxurious? No. I believe we have the ability to sympathize and try to understand the pains of the hungry, the tired, and the poor. Maybe we cannot fully grasp each other's emotions, but we could try. And one way to do this is to promote a week of peace. I want kids in my school to realize what goes on around the world and not jump to conclusions just because they are misinformed. During Peace Week, kids will get a chance to learn about problems people from all parts of the world have to face every day. Students will be given new identities for the week and get a chance to learn about the person whom they are representing, the hardship the person had to go through, and the problems that prevented them from living a peaceful life. Kids would be strongly encouraged to try and put themselves in the shoes of their new identities. This would hopefully give students a broader view and understanding of global problems. because I don't think kids my age take the time to see the problems thrown at the rest of the world's populace. There is no better place to be educated about world problems other than the schools we attend to become well educated. People like Martin Luther King Jr. will be our heroes during Peace Week to show students that we all have the power to act out against what we think is wrong. The main message during Peace Week would be, forget your wants and needs, stop thinking about yourself, and try to sympathize with the suffering of others. Peace Week would be a chance for kids like me to imagine the struggles men and women go through for equality, the famine that paralyzes third world countries, racism people deal with, and better understand the driving forces that fuels people's actions. Maybe we cannot directly walk into each other's shoes, but we could try to understand what it would feel like to be someone other than ourselves. Understanding each other gives us a reason to help one another. Peace Week, I believe, would be a great opportunity for teens like me to learn what lies beyond the borders of the United States of America and be motivated to help those in need.
Hi, I'm Mike Trigutta. My beautiful wife here, Dana, and I are on the Modesto Peace Life Center board, and we are the, for lack of a better term, we're the youth coordinators for the Modesto Peace Life Center. And what I'd like to do is, we have a conference. We held a conference last September, the first Social Justice Youth Leadership Conference. And this seemed to be such a great venue to reach out to high school students and invite them to come. This year we have one. I just solidified the date with our MC today. It's going to be on September 25th at the Modesto Church of the Brethren. Last year we had a speaker from Free the Children. This year we have a speaker from ACE, which stands for, I always forget the A. Climate education. It's going to be about global warming, and we're going to deal with the environment. But if you're a high school student and you're interested in going to this, it's a free conference. It's all day. We feed you lots of food. Deborah Roberts, I saw in the back, she is in charge of making the food. We have wonderful workshops. You can learn how to become a peace ambassador. Also, you get to meet we had 14 different groups last year from the area to, if you'd like to be involved in civic activities, such as Tuolumne River Trust, the Modesto Peace Life Center, PFLAG, all the way down the line, ACLU. So anyway, I have the flyers. They'll be on the back table for the second annual conference. Like I said, it's free. It's open to high school students. We hope to have 100 kids this year instead of just 60. So look for these on the back table. Thank you.
It was an exciting day last year. The energy of that group of high school students gathered together was really something. And a reminder, those of you who are currently 8th graders, when this rolls around, you will be high school students. So you may want to pick this up and consider making this a part of your early fall plans. The Peace Life Center hosts several activities and events through the year, and one of the great ways, if you'd like to stay in touch with what's happening in the Peace Life Center, is their newspaper, which comes out monthly, called Connections, and there's probably some copies of it around back there, and they also are online with information from that. So a good way to find out what's happening in the peace and justice community here in Stanislaus County. And it looks like our Division 4 folks are here and ready to go.
Thank you. And first from Division 4, we have Jojo Cambosas, school winner, Whitmore Charter, Mrs. Knudsen. And from Ms. Borland's class in Somerset Middle School, we have Henry Rios, the school winner. And our school winner from Salida Middle School in Mr. Longcourt's class is Anaisa Medina. And from another one of my alma maters, Fremont Open Plan, and my 6th grade teacher, Miss Pollard, the finalist, Jason Test. And from Lakewood Elementary School, in Mrs. Ruggieri Bessie's class, finalist, Sarah Tanner. And from Stanford Elementary School, in Miss Bryan's class, finalist and school winner, Andrea Samano. I like that t-shirt there. Look at that. You came dressed for the event. In Mrs. Hart's class, Hickman Elementary School, finalist, Reva Merriam. And also from Miss Pollard's class at Fremont Open Plan, Tori Maravilla, finalist. In Mrs. David's class in Agnes Baptist Elementary School, a finalist, Karen Cruz. Let's see if I got this right. Andrew Jimenez, right? Finalist, Atkinson Elementary School in Miss Scheller's class. Okay, from Riverbank Language, we have in Miss Jimenez's class, finalist James Esparza. I think we're going to have to get a bigger stage next year. That's great. From Lakewood Elementary School, Mrs. Maleko's Quick's class, we have a finalist, Liam Boyle. From Atkinson Elementary School in Miss Scheller's class, finalist and school winner, also with the nice hat, James Cervantes. And we have a finalist from Fremont Open Plan in Miss Pollard's class, Sika Akodi. And honorable mention and school winner from Lakewood Elementary School, my niece, Mahima Krishnamurthy. And honorable mention and school winner from Keys to Learning, Hannah Burgess. And third place and school winner from Fremont Open Plan, also in Miss Pollard's class, Joseph Arnett. Second place from Quito Elementary School, Miss Klein Lopez's class, we have Amy Lynn. Heidal, excuse me, Heidal. Thank you for that clarification. And first place and school winner from Riverbank Language in Miss Jimenez's class, Selena Avenue.
All right, so students, get so you can see out from where you're at, poke in between some folks if we need to. Next slide, some taller ones to the back. Parents, now's your chance. How about another nice
Unemployment has become a cruel reality for many during the past few years. Additionally, this issue has become a major problem due to the level it has reached during the current economic recession. While many reference work as a principal disruptor of world peace, the current unemployment crisis has dramatically impacted the peace in our society. Due to the many implications of unemployment, the daily peace that many used to enjoy is no longer something we can take for granted. Poverty, hunger, and violence are some of the most obvious side effects of the unemployment crisis. These issues have disrupted peace in our society by lowering the quality of life of many individuals. As people have been losing their jobs, they have been forced to leave their houses, sell their cars, and understanding. Some people have even been left without a home and nothing to eat. These problems have caused violence and conflicts within families because of the depression and stress. Unfortunately, kids who used to live peacefully are now having to worry about whether their parents have a job or not. Although unemployment has always existed, today the issue is bigger than ever. I choose to focus on this problem because it is an issue that is disrupting the peace in many people's lives. My family and I have personally been affected by unemployment in several ways. I have watched my father struggle to find a job, and I have also witnessed his desperation. Additionally, my family has moved to a smaller house and has to limit our spending. Furthermore, the company that my mother works for will soon close down and she will be left unemployed. For these reasons, I have chosen the problem of unemployment given that it has affected me and many others. If I had the opportunity to make changes to what that would create employment, there are three main things I would do. First, I would order hospitals, schools, and business to be built in order to create more job opportunities. Secondly, I would order the home loans and payments be reduced for those who are unemployed. Then I would increase taxes for too rich and use the money to pay the government debt instead of cutting aid to public services, which creates more unemployment. The decrease of unemployment will create a more peaceful future because people's life will return to normal. With these changes, less people will be poor, hungry, and without a home. While thinking about the concept of peace, I have learned that there are two types of peace, one you can see and one you can feel. The absence of visual peace is present in communities that are affected by hunger and poverty. Unemployment is the blame for this and also for the loss of the feeling of peace. Children like me are not at peace when we have to worry about whether our parents will lose their jobs and whether we will have somewhere to live. Lastly, while many worry about the war in Iraq, but most people ignore this disruption of peace in our homes, which is caused by the unemployment crisis.
Well, we're nearly at the end of our time together. How about another round of applause for all of the essays? I know as a judge this year reading, and I was judged in the Division 4 category, really some incredible essays and some incredible stories like the one that you just heard. Take time to read through all of the essays that are there in the book and be inspired by the ideas and dreams and hopes of our young people for a more peaceful world. Soon, I will let you stand up, and at the back of the room there are refreshments that are available for you. Students, remember in that packet you received, there is a green ticket, and that green ticket is what will get you your shirt. And Margaret, are you back at the shirt table? Look back there where that lovely bright colored shirt is, and take your ticket there. Figure out what size you think you'd like before you get there, and you'll be able to turn that ticket in and get your shirt. Teachers who are here, if students from your school were not here, we'd be glad for you to stop at the back table in the middle where Indira is waving, and pick up certificates for those who weren't here, as well as for others from your school who wrote essays, participation certificates. So we hope you'll stop and do that. All students who wrote do receive a certificate, so if you didn't get a packet, there is a certificate back there for you, and your teacher may end up picking that up. Thank you all again for coming this evening. The essay writing for next year will begin in just about 6 or 7 months, so be looking for the prompt to show up at your classroom and be asking about it. And I just will close by bringing to your attention the quote from the Dalai Lama that's on the front of this year's program, as well as on the t-shirts. Peace can only last where human rights are respected, where people are fed, and where individuals and nations are free. Let us work to build a world where that is the case. Thank you for coming, and have a good evening.
Hello, this is John Lucas from the Modesto Peace Life Center. If you enjoyed the program and support the program you just saw, then you need to support the Modesto Peace Life Center. Modesto Peace Life Center is involved in sustainable environment, peace, and justice issues. Our programming, if you've been watching it over the last year or year and a half, has dealt with these types of things and these types of issues. We've had union members speak about fair wages. We had a woman talk about, from the ASPCA, talk about fair treatment of animals. We've had all types of people on talking about all types of things, about civil rights, ACLU, and today we've had young people talk about the right for peace and nonviolence in our society, and how to achieve that, how to get to that place. If you support these goals, you need to support us. After I go off, there'll be a slide telling you how to support the Modesto Peace Life Center. The Modesto Peace Life Center has been in the community for 40 years, starting in 1970. This is our 40th anniversary. We really do work in this community with young people too. We have a Young People's Leadership Conference in September. We also support the Martin Luther King commemoration every year, as well as we have a peace camp in June. If you support these types of activities and think the world should be a more peaceful place, the environment should be sustainable, and you believe in social justice, people have a right to health care. If you believe in these things, that health care is a right, for instance, rather than a privilege, then you need to support us and the message we're trying to get out to the community in our videos and in our activities. Thank you for your time, and the slide will come up after I go off. Please be generous as you can. Or if you want to know more information, there'll be a phone number on there that you can call. If you want to get involved, that would even be better. We always need people to be involved. Thank you.